Welcome to Dad's Downtime Thinking and Drinking Podcast, a happy hour style podcast where a couple of guys get together, have a few drinks, and talk about what they've been up to. I am Dave Stanley, and alongside me, as usual, Steve Bassett.
Hey, how's it going, guys? So,
As always, before you jump into our topic,
oh
Steve,
no, yeah, no, I wasn't gonna do
uh,
that.
you can you can find us on Facebook and on Twitter at Dad's Downtime, and also on YouTube. You can watch us over there at Dad's Downtime as well. Um, Please give us a like and a subscribe. Greatly appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And without further ado, Steve, what are you drinking today?
Double IPA makes you larger. Pretty good. Hidden Hand Brewing. I like it. Recommend it. What about you, Dave?
I'm drinking Real Ale Brewing Company Axis IPA. It's got these
Cool.
lovely bears colors, and
The
it's got a
Bears.
it's got a deer on it.
You see, that doesn't do it for the Bears, Dave.
Well,
And football
no,
season's right around the corner too. Just so you know.
yeah, football
So,
season is around the corner, but we are not
but
talking
yeah,
about football
no,
today.
yeah. So let's figure out what it is that we're talking about. Oh yeah, what just happened? What concluded? Let's say
Uh,
this
it,
Friday, Dave.
I would say it was the MLB trade deadline, which was extremely boring until the 0 hour of it when the Cubs had this. Oh,
Yeah,
hold on. Wait,
yeah.
wait.
Come,
Where is it?
come on,
Where is it? There it
come on.
is.
There it is. Yes, this was a accurate representation of what was going on with the Chicago
I'm
Cubs
I'm
come
pretty
Friday.
sure this is a feed of you actually
You know what?
on this GIF. This looks very
I'm
much like you. Stupid hat, big dopey ears. Um Sitting in the middle of a bunch of fire with a cup of tea, or obviously not coffee if it's you.
yeah,
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are currently or that are unfolding currently.
yeah.
Can't read.
No, you want to know something? Believe it or not, I was completely cool with the way the events unfolded, and I'll tell you what. First of all. Um, do I respect what Rizzo, Baez, Bryant, and all of them did for the Cubs? Of course, I respect what they did for the Cubs
Oh, you
because you
have
know
to.
what, you have to. We got a World Series. I got lucky enough to see it when a whole hell of a lot of people didn't. So I can never discourage them for that. But when it comes down to the business side of things, well, I mean, let's just look at the big picture here. They weren't cutting it for the last several years,
Right.
realistically. And they're paid, they're worth a hell of a lot of money. I mean, I really wouldn't say that they're worth a hell of a lot of money right now, the way they're playing, but overall, they're worth a hell of a lot of money. And they're all free agents after this year. So what are you going to do? You're going to just sit on them, let them walk at the end of the year, and then
Get
you
your
get nothing for it.
compensatory. You get a
Yeah, exactly.
compensatory pick.
If you extend that qualifying offer, which why wouldn't you if you kept them? But at the same time,
Right.
it's like, what good does that do? Because lately we've been seeing, yeah, I mean, I know you're not a Cub fan, but you do follow baseball. It's like we've been seeing the way the Cubs have been drafting the last several years. It's not been good. So it's like, do
No,
we really
not at all.
trust that? Okay, they're going to take that fuck, compensatory.
Compensatory or suppository pick or something like that.
But I mean, they're gonna take that pick, and you possibly would have three of them with, Rizzo, Baez, Bryant. It's like, all right, so you know, what are we gonna do with
You
those?
can
Because
right,
yeah,
you can get more from those players than just those late round picks.
exactly. And as we saw, you know, they did get stuff. I mean, the thing is, I don't really know any of those players that they got back for any of these guys. I mean, they're all minor league prospects for the most part.
Mhm.
The biggest haul, in my opinion, that the Cubs did get back was for Kimbrel, which did
Absolutely.
surprise me. And I know, Dave, you being a White Sox fan, that has to surprise you and probably at the same time excite you and probably slightly piss you off at the same time. So
Yeah,
how
I
about
mean,
you
there
let me
was
know what you feel?
I'm still torn, but it's not like the White Sox don't have a player that can take over second base. I mean, they've got I mean, Mancada can get moved over there, and you can put someone else over at third. You're not gonna move Tim Anderson from shortstop over to second.
No.
Um, but I mean, Mendick he's sufficed there for the time that we haven't had Nick Madrigal, and if you're not aware, the White Sox sent Nick Madrigal and I think one other player, a minor
Oh,
leaguer,
Cody Hoyer.
over.
No, you know what? He pitched for the Cubs just yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a clean inning if
All
I'm
right.
not mistaken.
All right. So the White Sox sent over Cody Hoyer and Nick Madrigal to the Cubs in return for Craig Kimbrell, which by all means, Craig Kimbrell, great shutdown closer right there.
I think you can say at the moment, at least this season, the hands down best closer, best
Hmm.
relief pitcher in baseball at the moment. He's got a .49 ERA.
Yeah,
He's unhittable right now.
despite the White Sox loss last night, it's not because of Kimbrell.
Oh, did he pitch
Um,
last night?
he did. He got the ninth inning,
Okay.
but which that was an interesting game. I'm not sure if you caught any information out of that game, but I'll get into that in a minute.
Okay.
It does hurt watching the White Sox give up Nick Madrigal. He is on the 60-day IL right now,
Yeah.
so
Torn
he's not
hamstring,
playing.
if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. So
he
I mean,
ain't
he's
playing
done
for
for
you
the year.
guys.
No,
Yeah,
but that's fine.
but
What
he's
do we need him for at the moment? You know what I mean?
at the moment nothing. I mean, you're not trying to win games right now, trying to lose games.
Exactly.
I don't feel like the White Sox did enough during this trade deadline, but at the same time, I understand why they didn't because their backup players have put them in like deep into first place in the division, and
Yeah.
we don't even have the main core of players going right now.
You've been
So,
missing your big bombers all year,
yeah,
which is
we have
scary because you guys have been killing it without those guys.
right. The White Sox have had so many injuries, and it doesn't help. Like the other night, for some reason, Jose Abreu has this magnet in him that attracts baseballs. He got hit twice the other night, once in the shoulder, and then later in the game got beamed in the head. It's
Oh,
I don't know how many times has that guy been hit in the head with a baseball?
you know what though? I bet you I know a guy that can compete and probably pass him up, and that's Wilson Contreras. Contreras has been hit
Yeah,
in the head at least once this year already. He's been hit. You know what? I gotta look. I'm gonna look while we talk about this. But
yeah.
actually, real quick, before I really look this up, one thing I wanted to say in terms of the Madrigal deal, when we when the Cubs traded Kimbrel to the White Sox, and I saw that we got Nick Madrigal in return, right at that moment, I knew what that meant because at the time, we all knew, okay, most likely Chris Bryant's going to get traded, but there wasn't any, big, anything solid on that. Rizzo was already gone. He was gone the
Mhm.
night before to the Yankees. But once the Cubs got Nick Madrigal, I was like, okay, you know what? And I believe I talked to you about this, Dave. That means Nick Madrigal starting next year whenever he's healthy, because most likely he should be healthy at some point next year. You slot him at second. You move
Yeah,
Nico Horner. Yeah, go on.
yeah, Nick Madrigal can't play the left side.
Yeah. So you put Madrigal at second. You slide Nico
I
Horner,
guess
who is a
right side.
shortstop. You slide Nico to the shortstop position. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, guess what that means? That means Baez was expendable. Sure enough, what, Dave? Within the next 5-10 minutes, Baez
Oh
was a
yeah.
Met. So
Yep.
go ahead and
Yep.
explain that a little bit while I find out where Contreras stands in terms of hit by pitch, because I know it's a hell of a lot right now.
Yeah, so I mean, Nick Madrigal's not he doesn't have the arm strength, I don't believe. Even when they drafted him, they were saying that he doesn't have the arm strength to play third or short, and I don't think you would want him to. I think he's a bit of a smaller guy. Um,
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, I mean, you're getting a solid player there though.
Oh,
Like
I'm excited.
he's
I'm excited for him, man. I
that's
am.
a good player for the future rebuild of the Cubs. Sorry. Like I said, I think I would have loved to have seen the White Sox get another starting pitcher in place of Keuchel and possibly Cease going into this playoff run. I know Keuchel has the experience, but he doesn't have the skill that he used to. I don't think he's all that great. Uh, he has not nearly as bad, but he gives me those the vibes of James Shields.
Oh my god,
Like,
that
yeah, just never should have signed him kind of thing,
mhm.
but can't go back. So, is what it is. But
Yeah.
before we get into more of the trade deadline stuff, so I'm watching the White Sox game, and I don't want to talk about just White Sox and Cubs. I want to talk about more
No,
teams than just
absolutely.
these two.
Yeah.
Watching the Sox game the other yesterday, and their stand-in catcher, Sebi Zavala, he has never hit a home run in his career. Hit his first at bat that night or yet last night, hits his first home run in his career. And he was able to get it back because he went into like a dead area of center field.
Mhm.
I think it was his next, yeah, it was his next at bat. He hits a grand slam. Another ball that I think went into like a dead area where he was able to get that one back. Later on, like 2 at bats later, I think, hits a third home run. Goes from never hitting a home run to hitting 3 in one night. It's an MLB record.
Wow.
Like hit the, hitting your first 3 home runs in one game is a record for the MLB. First time in history. And the
It's
White Sox still lost 12-11.
yeah. All right, so really quick, Dave. So I'm looking at Contreras. This year, currently, he has 12 hit by pitch. He had 14 last year. Overall, 6-year career, he's at 55 hit by pitches. Abreu this year has 13. Last year, he only had 3. Remember, in the shortened year last year, Contreras had 14 in
Yeah.
189 at bats, 14 hit by pitch. That's a hell of a lot. And Abreu's 8-year career, he's at 96. So both those guys have been hit a hell of a lot.
Oh,
Abreu
yeah.
obviously trumps him, but it's like my God, these two are very much a magnet for the baseball. But okay, so
The
let's
pro
go. Yeah,
Real
go ahead.
quick, the problem with the Braves, like, I don't know where Contreras tends to get hit. For some reason, pitchers like to throw up and in on
Oh,
Abreu, and he has been hit in the upper shoulder and the head numerous times.
oh, same thing with Contreras. He gets hit above the waist, above the belt a lot.
Yeah.
Numerous
Like, I
times
mean,
been hit in the head, shoulder, yeah, everything. That's why he gets so pissed off, especially against the Brewers. The Brewers usually hit him. I mean, the Brewers so far, out of those 12 hit by pitch, I think he's been hit like 5 or 6 times by the Brewers this year alone,
mm,
which is
I
why
know,
he's almost gotten into benches clearing brawls with them already this year.
like, the other night when Abreu got hit by the pitch, in the helmet, he went down and La Russa comes running out, and that's just comical to see. Watching La Russa try and run is funny. Uh, but Abreu still went down to first base. Like, he's
Wow.
even getting hit in the head by a pitch, like, still went to first base. Dude's a tank. Anyway, Steve, take us through some of the other, trade moves that
Okay.
happened.
So my gosh, it's like you we got the initial report showing the Padres were in talks
Oh
and
my god.
possibly about to land Max Scherzer, and it's like, me not, me being a Cub fan, knowing that the Cubs aren't going to go anywhere, it's like, oh, cool, the Padres. It's like I could back that. I have no issues with them at the moment. Fernando Tatis Jr. is just a disgusting player, one hell of a guy to watch. And it's
Never
like,
heard of him.
cool. Yeah,
Never,
I
never
know.
heard of him.
I know. I mean, he wasn't on the White Sox at all, and they just gave him up for
We
some absolute shit. But
I mean,
yeah,
who wouldn't wanna give up a great prospect for James Shields?
I know. I definitely would. I mean, Cubs should have given up Chris Bryant for him. Then we wouldn't have had to deal with that. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah. So it's like the Padres were right there with Max Scherzer, and then you find out, like, I don't know what, 10, 15 minutes later, oh, the Dodgers swooped in. It's like, of course the Dodgers did. It's a typical Dodger move. They swoop in, they buy everything because that's all they do. They got money up the ass. They don't give two shits about going over the luxury tax. Um, so the Dodgers work a deal with the Nats. They get Max Scherzer and they get Trey Turner. It's like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
man.
that's insane.
Yep.
But
So
it's
I
like
mean,
the Padres kind of started off the whole like trade deadline thing by signing Adam Frazier, and it's just like it
Yeah,
looked like
which
the Padres are just gonna buy out the World Series essentially this year. Like they
which
were trying to get
was cool.
everybody.
I know, and you know what? That's fine because it's like when has San Diego won it? You know, it's like
Right.
those are one of those
But
teams. It's like if they could do it, that'd be great.
looking at some of these reports right now, like I know I read yesterday evening, Chris Paddock and Fernando Tatis Jr. Were going on a 10-day injury list. I'm reading now that season-ending shoulder surgery, quote unquote, would be on the table for Tatis if he doesn't show improvement during his 10-day injured list stint.
Are you serious? What? So he got hit. What happened to him though? Like where did he get hit?
I I have no idea.
Oh my god.
I haven't been following that too much. It's just let's see. This is the second time Tatis's bothersome left shoulder has sent him to the injured list.
Oh.
As he suffered a slight labrum tear back in early April, but only missed minimal time.
Oh, hey, Tatis is
So,
on the IL, left shoulder inflammation after leaving last night's game with a shoulder problem following a slide into third base. Oh my
ah, so he
god.
re-aggravated that labrum. It sounds like,
Oh,
and I mean,
man.
I'm I'm guessing he's not bouncing back in 10 days. I think his season might be done,
Yep.
which sucks for the Padres because that means they're gonna stay in 3rd place
Yeah.
in
Well, I
the
mean, the
NL
thing is,
West.
you lose Tatis for the rest of the year. The Padres might not even end up making them one of the wild cards, dude. You might
Mm,
have an NL team sneak in another team. I mean,
no.
you don't think the Mets and I mean, you see what the Braves have done? The Braves added Jorge Soler, and the Braves are going
Mm,
hard too because they're in a really
which
weak ass division.
I
But
gotta I gotta admit, I'm glad that Solaire's not in my division anymore. It's nice.
yeah, well, I mean, he didn't do shit when he was with the Cubs, so
Well, he was smashing the ball off the White Sox, so,
oh, was he?
let's get him out of the AL Central. That's fine. Let's see, looking at these standings, who would even be close, uh, in the NL? So look at the National League. Let's look at the wild card standings. Let's see. National League, currently you have San Fran, Milwaukee, and the Mets with Dodgers and Padres. I mean, Cincinnati could sneak up there. They're 3.5 back of San Diego.
That's what I'm
Uh,
saying though, man. You have season-ending surgery for Tatis, dude. That is
yeah.
your megastar. Sorry, Machado can't cut it.
No.
The Padres also signed right for the deadline another Cub, Jake Marisnick. Jake Marisnick, good
Mhm.
support dude. Not a guy that obviously he can't fill in short anyway. He's an outfielder, but it's like that's not a
Yeah.
guy. I don't know what their situation. If maybe you want to move Cronenworth, I think Cronenworth plays. No, Machado's third. Cronenworth, I think, is second. Maybe it's like maybe you move Cronenworth to short for Tatis. I don't know who you put at second, and then maybe one of the outfielders is you know a super utility support dude like let's say a Chris Bryant who can play basically all over the field, and then you throw Marisnik in the outfield. I don't know their whole situation. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. So it's like I think they
I
might
mean,
they might just suffer from there.
they if they lose out on their playoff spot, I think it would be to Cincinnati because Cincinnati's been hot lately.
Yeah, the Mets
Um,
pulled them down last. I watched a good
yeah,
chunk of
Joey
that Mets
Votto
game.
Joey Votto's streak of home runs ended
Yep.
barely. Um,
Yeah, it was by inches,
yeah,
that he
but
missed it.
I mean, St. Louis is 6.5 back of the wild
And
card,
they're
and
they're not gonna they're not
at
gonna do it.
and then Atlanta is 7.5 back. So if there's any team that's gonna overtake the Padres in the next 2 months, it's gonna be Cincinnati. I don't know. I think the Padres might be fine. Like
You think they're able to
like
coast into the wild card and then probably just get eliminated right away, though, right?
yeah, I think they lose to the Dodgers in the wild card if the Dodgers don't overtake San
Boy,
Fran.
the sad thing is, I think the Dodgers do overtake San Fran with all the shit that they added. I mean, plus I just saw a report too saying that the Dodgers reinstate Corey Seager from the injured list. Corey Seager is a disgusting baseball player. This team is literally primed to repeat as World Series champs, which Pisses me
Yeah,
off. Like, was I
that
rooting for the
doesn't.
Dodgers last year? I was because they got
uh,
screwed over by the Astros. No, and trust me,
Yeah,
you know I hate the Dodgers, but they got screwed
right,
over in
right.
2017 by the cheating Astros. So it's like at that time, I was happy for them to get theirs because they should have had it in 2017. But it's like because they were cheating even in the World Series against the Dodgers. So they're just a bunch of scum, cheating pieces of shit. But
Yeah,
at the same time, it's like I don't want the Dodgers to have any more success. They got their World Series. I'm happy for them. Fuck them from here on, dude. I want
and
someone else to win.
it scares me for the White Sox. Like, if the White Sox make the World Series, like, they have to play like, I don't see the Mets making the World Series,
No,
so they don't really
no.
concern me. But the White Sox did not match up well against Milwaukee this past week. Um, the Giants,
And
I don't know what that team is anymore, but it looks like they've got a hell of a defense. They've only given up 388 runs this season.
yeah, they're losing to Houston right now, 2-0. Chris Bryant is 0 for 1 with a strikeout in his Giants debut.
And you're surprised?
You know what? You know
But I
what?
mean,
This
like, that Dodgers team just scares me.
Yeah, they do. Which is I don't know, man. I
Yeah,
don't know.
but anyways, back to these trade deadlines.
Yeah,
Um, Lots of moves. Was it the Red Sox who picked up
Kyle Schwarber. Yep,
Schwarber?
yep.
Um, I
I
know they
mean,
were in the
he's
mix. They were in the mix for Scherzer. So I mean, like, could you imagine? I
yeah.
mean, with Chris Sale coming back, could you imagine a 1-2 of Sale and Scherzer?
Oh my god, that'd be insane. I mean, I don't even know what they're doing or who their like starters are at the moment, to be honest with you, and how they are
I don't know.
doing what they're doing. But I mean, they
I don't
are a
know.
damn good team. And
I have no idea.
I mean, I'm looking at a report right here too saying Chris Sale threw 81 inning or through 81. Oh my God, this thing says
81, eight-
Chris Sale threw
81
81
innings.
innings over 5 innings in a AAA rehab start yesterday. I don't think that's even possible. So he threw 81 pitches over 5 innings. So I mean, I think you and I both know Chris Sale. He's right there. He is right there, ready to come back to the Red
Yeah, he's
Sox.
ready
And
to.
I mean, the
But
Red Sox.
that doesn't sound great. 81 pitches in 5 innings for Chris Sale in AAA? That doesn't sound great for him.
Yeah, but remember, he's coming off of Tommy John, so and odds
True.
are he probably struck all those dudes out. So that's why. Let's see. Well, strike. Okay, so mostly fastball, 91 to 93 mile per hour range, which actually that is slow for him, but occasionally reared back to touch the 96 mark. So either he's afraid to really let it go again, which makes sense because of Tommy John, or he just doesn't have anymore. But it said he struck out 7 and allowed 1 run on 5 hits and a walk. So in 5 innings, he struck out 7, 5 hits and a walk. So I mean, think about it, man. You're striking all those dudes out. Your pitch count
Yeah,
goes way up.
that's not
So
bad. I mean, Chris Sale's known for having double-digit strikeouts in most games.
all the time, man. And you got to think about it, man. The Red Sox get him back before playoff time, which I mean, I would actually, I'd be curious. Like, is he eligible for the playoffs? I don't know the rules at that point. If
I
if
don't see
he's
why
coming back
not.
from injury, okay, because it's like, boy, oh boy. I mean, you get him back. I mean, you're not going to be looking for him to go. I mean, and we know. I mean, you know Chris Sale a lot. I know him for a decent amount, but it's like, I mean, you obviously know him better than most. But it's like he comes playoff time, and they're like, all right, yeah, just give us 5 innings. And if he's cruising and his pitch count is a little up, he's still going to be like, no, don't take me out. I want to help this team any way I can. I want to go as many innings as I can. But I mean, like, I don't think they're going to be asking a whole hell of a lot from him. It's like, hey, can you give us a couple? Maybe come playoff time, you throw
He might be
him
their
as a bullpen guy, dude.
You
And
could go
that's just
bullpen with him, or you
yes,
could go, like, 3rd or 4th starter.
exactly. And you're not expecting 6, 7 innings from a third or fourth starter. If he can give you that with a lower pitch count, I mean, you take that any day of the week. I mean, the Red Sox, as much as I don't care for that team, if they're just going to get when Schwarber comes back healthy, and then you get Chris Sale back, dude.
Mhm.
That's all they need, man. That's all. Like maybe they were a little quieter than some of these other teams, like the Dodgers or the Padres. But it's like, dude, they improved by just getting guys healthy, and then they're going to
Right,
be
right.
even better than they were. They're leading the division easily right now, right? Aren't the Yankees the next, or is it the Rays? No, it's got to be the Rays, right?
It's the right now. It's the Rays. I pull it up. So Rays are at 63 and 42. Boston's at 63 and 43, and the Yankees 56 and 48. Toronto's at 54 and 48. Despite Toronto only being a game behind the Yankees, I don't think they have what it takes to, especially with trading away Joey Gallo to the Yankees, which makes no sense.
So that was the
I don't.
Rangers. The
Oh, that was
Rangers.
the Rangers. Sorry.
Yeah, the Blue
Yeah.
Jays. The Blue Jays got Jose Barrios though, right? Barrios
Yes. Yes, I believe
from
so.
the Twins.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the
I don't. I
AL.
don't think. I don't think the Blue Jays are gonna make the playoffs. I'm gonna give you a hot take though.
Let's
So
hear it.
Tampa Bay, they're losing Glasnow to Tommy John.
Oh
They're not winning that division.
no, they're not. I'm
Now,
I'm with you.
dis- despite the conversation we just had about Boston
You
with
think New York?
Schwarber, so Boston is half game behind Tampa. Yankees are 6.5 behind Tampa. Hot take, because of the Rizzo, the Gallo, and any other moves that the Yankees made, I think the Yankees win that division.
Boy, oh boy.
As much as I hate it. I mean, that
you
Yankees
know,
team, they stacked. I mean, that. Do you want to go against a what is it, a
R- Rizzo, Judge, Gallo,
yeah,
Gary Sanchez, Gleyber
Stanton?
Torres, yeah, Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah,
No,
fuck that. I'm not pitching against that shit. Are you
jeez.
kidding me? That's 2/3 of your lineup.
You know,
Any any batter can just put one out of the park like that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Plus,
That's terrifying.
The Yankees have that cheap porch in left or in right. I mean, and look at you got your monster dudes, Rizzo, Joey Gallo.
Yeah, Rizzo's hit 2 home runs for the Yankees already.
Exactly, and he had a RBI single today as well. The Yankees swept the Marlins. I mean, granted, that's the Marlins are shit, but
The Marlins sitting at 44 and 61.
yeah. I mean, the Yankees had to sweep them, but it's like the crazy thing is too, Dave. With me being a Cub fan, um, it feels so weird actually kind of having a rooting interest now in, let's say, the Mets, the Yankees, and the San Francisco Giants when
Oh
they
yeah.
have no reason. I hate the Mets because of,
Oh, you hate the Giants.
I hate the Giants too. And it's like, well, now I'm kind of rooting for the Giants because Chris Bryant. Hell, Kayla and I were watching the Mets game last night, watching Baez and stuff, and I was rooting them on. It's like I got excited when they got that walk-off single in the
Yeah.
10th inning. I'm like, oh hell yeah. And it's like, wait, I'm not a Mets fan, but it's like Javier
I
Baez is
mean,
on the team now, and I want him to have
rooting
success.
rooting for the Mets doesn't really bother me too much just because you're rooting for the
The
best
player.
team, which
Yeah,
well, yeah,
well,
I mean,
yeah.
you're rooting for the player, but you're rooting for the best team in probably what is the worst division in baseball. And
Oh yeah.
they're
Yep.
not even running away with that division.
No, they're not. So I mean, come
They're
playoff time, they're gonna do nothing. They're gonna do
they're
jack shit.
55 and 49. That's a .529 percentage.
Yeah, it's terrible,
That's
man.
that's not great.
No.
Meanwhile, you've got teams like San Diego who could potentially miss the playoffs at 561 percentage. You've got Cincinnati at 528 who will miss the playoffs if San Diego makes the playoffs. Like
Oh my
the
gosh.
Seattle Mariners in the AL West, they're not going to make the playoffs and they're at 533. Like it's sad that baseball is starting to parody um what is it basketball on that sense, where just because you're in a weak division or a weak conference you can make the playoffs at like a sub 500 win percentage, like the what was it Washington last year, yeah, Washington last year in the NFL, they were what, 7-9, barely. Ooh,
Mm,
we gotta get Ghost out of here.
yeah. Um,
Let's see. Sorry, we're having a slight technical difficulty. There it
yeah,
goes.
sorry about that, guys.
It was just bad timing on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's before we get too long into it, are there any other trade deadline dealings that we haven't really gone into enough? Who did the Rockies send Trevor Story? Oh, the Rockies never traded Trevor Story.
They
There was
kept him?
interest in him.
Oh,
He's still listed as being a Rocky,
wow.
so I guess they ended up keeping him. I know they didn't want to get rid of what's his name either. Um, Gosh, who was the other player on their team that they decided that was just
Jonathan
not?
Gray.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
don't know why
pitcher.
they. It's like the Rockies sitting over there at
Oh, they're
46 and 59,
yeah, they're terrible.
19 and a half games behind San Francisco,
Yeah.
and you're not going to trade off. I understand John Gray is a hell of a pitcher, but get something
But
for him.
I was
Start
gonna say
rebuilding.
he's a free agent after this season, isn't he?
Yeah,
So, I mean,
I don't understand that unless they have something like off the books, like worked like in works with him right now.
yeah, I don't know. Real quick,
But
Dave,
even then, they could trade him off to another team, and then come free agency, like, just re-sign him to
resign him.
that contract.
Just like the Cubs had when they traded for Chapman in 2016, they gave up Gleyber Torres and everybody, for Chapman, which
Yeah,
they gave up a huge piece, and then Chapman resigns with the Yankees the following season. So
yeah.
the
It
Yankees,
was it
basically
was
stole
literally a
from the
rental.
Cubs.
It
Exactly,
was
but I mean, the
literally
Cubs
a
got the
rental.
World Series, so
Yeah, you
um,
take it.
yeah, oh yeah, I take that in a heartbeat.
No, you
Real
don't.
quick
You never
though,
wanted it.
oh no, I didn't want the World Series. Real quick, so the Cubs lost to the Nats again. So they lost 2 or 3 to the Nationals, who are 49 and 56. Cubs are now 51 and 56. So the Cubs are terrible. Rafael Ortega, their leadoff guy, who's been like stupid hot, 4 for 4 today, 3 runs, 5 RBI. Guess what he did? 3 home runs. 3 home runs. Cubs had 5 hits. He had 4 of them.
Yikes.
Yep, yep. The only other Cubs hit was by Romine, a pinch hitter later on in the game. So none of the other Cubs did absolute shit except Rafael Ortega. So, whoo-wee, it's gonna be a long rest of the season, baby. But you know what?
You
Bring
s
it on.
you gotta just not watch the Cubs this year. Just stop watching
Yeah,
them.
I know.
There's no
I'm
one
there.
there's no one there to watch right now,
No,
except for maybe Contreras
and he's terrible too, man. He's not doing
or
any good.
whoever Alcantara is.
Yeah, that guy's terrible as well.
Then
Um,
there you go. Stop watching baseball.
yeah. So let's see. What else do we have? Anything that we want to talk about? Because I mean, a lot of these teams, I mean, all these other teams made some like the Cardinals getting John Lesser and J.A. Happ. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that. I personally don't care for Lester. I think he's
The
washed
thing
up. He's over the
he
hill.
is. He is.
J.A. Happ, I don't know a whole hell of a lot about him anymore. I don't. I mean, and maybe that's a testament to his skill. Then it's like I don't know a whole hell of a lot about him anymore. Maybe he's. I don't think he's very good either. So I mean, I had a
We're
buddy. Yeah.
we're at this point in, like, you know how, like, sports go through waves of stars, and you hear these big names like, "Oh, it's a great player," but then, like, they get on your team, it's like, "This guy is trash. Why did we trade for him?" It goes back to the 2000s when, I think it was, like, the early 2000 mid-2000s when, the White Sox traded for Ken Griffey Jr. It's like, "Oh my god, the White Sox have Ken Griffey Jr." Well, yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. is in, like, the last season or 2 of his career.
Yeah. He's already
You're
at
you're
that point
buying
washed
you're
up.
buying an
Yeah.
you're buying an old name.
Yeah. You're
So
buying it for the name, getting excited for it
right.
when.
And I think that's what I think the Cardinals are aware they're not making the playoffs this year, so let's bring in some big names for people to come watch.
But it's funny because it's like Lester obviously known for the Red Sox and for the like what the last 5, 6 years with the Cubs, and it's like, hey, let's bring, let's. I mean, how did I mean, I had a guy who's a Cardinal fan text me. He's like, he was not happy about the Lester and Hap signing, and it's like I agreed with him. We were talking for a little bit. It's like, yeah, I mean, I think Lester's not good anymore. I was sick of him when his last 2, 3 years with the Cubs. I'm like, dude, just
Yeah.
leave, just go. Don't want you
I
anymore.
mean, just hope he doesn't have to throw the first base.
Yeah.
Never, I never understood that with him.
I don't get it, man. That's the baseball yips for you, dude. You're a
No,
pitcher, but you can't throw to a base. Sure.
that's that's more than just yips.
Yeah.
Holy crap! The Phillies had 20 hits today.
Hey, didn't they have like 15 runs or something?
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, there was
Yeah.
one thing that I saw today that I wasn't sure if you had seen. Mark Andre Fleury is apparently actually leaning towards playing for the Blackhawks next season, this upcoming season.
Dude, the fact that it's got to take, that he's got to, go this
Right.
much
It
into
it
like,
should that should not be a news article.
no,
It's
it
like
should.
you
I'll tell
signed a
you what.
contract that said
Exactly.
you signed a contract that said you were going to play for whoever owns this contract.
Yep.
And you get traded and then you threaten to retire because you didn't want to be traded. Now you're just acting like a child.
I'll tell you what he's doing right now is he's making himself basically a hated guy in the fan base right off the bat.
Mhm.
Like if he
Mhm.
does like last second, just like if he takes this all the way into training camp and then like last second, all right, fine, I'll play. If I'm at one of those games, I'm booing his ass when he comes out the first time. He doesn't deserve my applause or anything. He's a jackass. He's a bitch.
I feel you. I feel you.
Like I would strongly boo his ass. Don't give him the respect that he thinks and wants and craves. I mean, don't act like that. You're getting paid millions of dollars to play a game. None of us, are going to be able to do that right now. So just shut up and play your game. You've won 3 cups.
Right.
Do you want to win more? Yeah. Well, you know what? Help the fucking Hawks win then, because I want the Hawks to win more cups. So
Yeah.
help them win. Stop being a bitch and just play the game.
Yeah. I've never understood the whole you sign a contract to play for whoever owns the contract, but then you get pissed off when that contract gets traded to somebody else.
Exactly. So
I'm sorry, you didn't have a no trade clause.
yeah,
That's on
well,
you.
work that into your contract next. But you know what? Whatever, man. Just shut up and play the game.
Yeah. So I think that's going to wrap it up for us. We are, gosh, 35 minutes, it looks like.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
that's a good stopping point, I would say.
yeah, I think we've kind of exhausted the trade deadline stuff. I know a lot of it was White Sox and Cubs, more so Cubs than anything.
Sorry about that,
But
guys. Yeah.
to be fair, I mean the Cubs were the biggest seller this season.
Yeah, I mean, I
Like,
think a lot of people didn't necessarily see that coming to that extent. So, it is a big deal. But before we get to the closing thing, anybody else out there, post a comment. Let us know. Let us know how you
mhm,
feel about the deadline. Let us know what your team did. Let us know what your team is. Let us know if you're happy with what your team did at the deadline. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're looking for a move and your team stood idle and you're pissed about that. Let us know. Let us know in the comments, please. We're always
hell,
looking to talk.
I know I wish the White Sox would have gotten rid of Keuchel or Cease and gone after Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that would have been that
to
would have been ooh.
shore up the four-man rotation for the playoffs. That would have been fantastic.
Boy, you guys get Scherzer and still get Kimbrel. Oh my goodness, you guys are a hell of a team. I would have to say you're one of
Yeah,
the favorites easily. But
I
of course,
think I think the
Dodgers
White
get
So-
it.
I think the White Sox should be considered the favorite out of the American League. It's just I don't think they're the favorite to win it this year.
I think
I
unfortunately
would
the Dodgers are again, which
I would
pisses me
I would
off.
rather see the White Sox lose in the ALCS than lose in the World Series.
It just stings more if you
It
do it in
does.
the I mean,
It
by
does.
no means is it, because I mean, I saw the Cubs, lose in the NLCS in 2015. I saw them win the World Series 2016. I saw them lose in the NLCS in 2017. And both of those losses, Dave, you already know how I reacted to those. So
Oh,
it,
you're just an angry person.
well, I am. But when it comes to my teams and losing, it does not go well. But I mean, if they lost in the World Series, it would have been worse. So, so yeah.
Yeah. I remember '05 when the White Sox went to the World Series, and it was, think they swept the Astros, but I was afraid because I did not want them to see the Cardinals. The White Sox
Yeah.
got lucky by getting the Astros instead of the Cardinals. Like, they got so lucky for that.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a White Sox team, though. One loss the entire postseason run.
You go.
Swept the reigning world champion Red Sox. Lost one against the Angels, and then swept the Astros. Like,
It's ridiculous.
not that the Astros were a pushover. Like, they made the White Sox work.
No, yeah, most of those were very, very close games. But
Mhm.
the deciding game was a extra inning game too, right?
Um,
Or was that the game before?
oh god, I can't remember. I feel like a shitty White Sox fan now.
Ah,
Regardless, let's wrap this thing up. As always, you
agreed.
can follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Give us a like and a follow on both of those platforms. And if you are watching on YouTube, which we highly, highly suggest you do,
Courage,
uh,
yeah.
give us a like and subscribe, and make sure you comment.
Yeah,
If you're listening to the audio only version, please give us a rating and comment as well. And we will see you guys next week.
yeah.
Thanks.
Later, guys.